sure my volume. Overall pick. Welcome to the NBA Live Reaction Show. I am your host, Joshua Griffith. If you can tell, my focus is a little bit off screen because I have the NBA draft up, as I'm hoping that you do too. I have my phone right beside me because I want to interact with you tonight, as always, on our live show. So let's talk about all the draft picks. The Minnesota Timberwolves are first overall on the clock, and their pick is in. So waiting to hear back from this. Is it going to be LaMelo Ball? Is it going to be Anthony Edwards? What do you guys think? I mean, I think the Timberwolves would be silly not to pick LaMelo Ball and let the pick fall to anyone else, but we're going to see with this. I mean, Anthony Edwards is an absolute beast. So I thought the pick would be coming in right now. I'm going to be joined in a couple minutes, hopefully by the big boss man Van. So stay tuned for that. And also make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the big blue join button at the bottom. You'll get all those extra perks. And this is timing up just perfect as Adam Silver walks up to announce the first overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. So thank you all for joining us on the Sports Talk Line Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. And Anthony Edwards is the first overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. So a lot of people thought that was going to be Minnesota's pick. LaMelo Ball was right there. Anthony Edwards, I don't know how he matches up with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. I don't know if that was the best choice for fit. You know, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Anthony Edwards was the consensus overall first pick? Do you think there could have been maybe some? Geez, you know, it's going to be interesting, and the guy's a beast. I'm sure you guys have your TVs up and you're watching the NBA draft right now. You're watching this guy's football abilities. He probably could have played football. University of Georgia. He's going to be a guard, but again, I don't see how is that the best fit with the Minnesota Timberwolves. SEC Freshman of the Year. This is like the guy's an absolute beast. He could have played tight end. And sorry, I'm just watching some things on here. I got my producer talking in my ear and anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Oh, and then. Oh, there we go. That's why things are messing up. So, and yes, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah. Anthony Wiggins got traded. So we got Steve and Van over in here now. Can you hear me, Steve?
Yeah, I can.
Van. Sorry, hopefully. I keep calling you a boss. I just call you boss.
Can hear you fine.
So what do you think about the first overall pick, Anthony Edwards, to the Minnesota Timberwolves?
I'm sorry, I had something in my ear. What was that again?
What do you think about Anthony Edwards to the Minnesota Timberwolves with the first overall pick?
I mean, you and I talked about it in the green room before the show, and you know, he has all the box checked. Okay, you know, all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed, but I just don't see what he does that is at the uber elite level. You look at some of the other players, and they have a certain skill set that you go, oh wow, that's elite. This guy is an all-around player. That's an awesome skill set. But I kind of get the feeling he just bullies that NCAA athletic level athlete, and he does it well. But I don't think that type of game translates all that well to the next level unless you're, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, somebody like that.
Yeah, I mean, 6'2", 220 or 6'5", 225. He's a big kid and he's
a big man.
he's got some potential, but like he says, yeah, like what specific skill set is he going to be able to offer the Minnesota Timberwolves. Next up, kind of here, we got watching the clock. What are they got 4 minutes or 5 minutes. But Golden State Warriors are next on the clock.
Right.
What do you think the Golden State Warriors are going to do? Are they going to pull the trigger on LaMelo Ball? Or are they going to go with kind of the pick that a lot of people have been saying with James Wiseman? What do you think, Van?
Well, it's Memphis, and they're in this position quite often, actually. And so I think they're going to screw it up. I think I think the smart pick here is James Wiseman. He's one of the safest guys out there. I mean, excuse me, Obi Toppin. He has a higher floor, but Wiseman's got that ceiling. Plus, he plays defense. What's not to like about that guy? I think that is the obvious pick here. But I would have taken Wiseman at number 1. So that's maybe not good advice coming from me.
Really? I would have taken, for me, I would have taken LaMelo Ball at number 1 because I think that his overall skill and just his playmaking ability and the floor that he has in his NBA career is going to be kind of tops of anybody that we're seeing in this draft. So it looks like the Golden State Warriors pick is in.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So yeah, I like how they're moving things fast along because I think they're going to try and do like 60 picks or something.
Do you want me to do a drum roll?
Oh, beautiful. Do we not have a sound effects board? I always want to put it on my phone, but I have I have my phone up now so I can interact with everyone.
All right.
So again, please, anyone that's watching, chat in. I see we got Rizal is waiting for the Golden State Warriors pick. Rails Reacts pointed out that I made a mistake with Wiggins got traded. So as we wait for the Golden State Warriors pick that I'm hoping is LaMelo Ball, because I would love to see LaMelo Ball with Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. Kind of want to, before the pick is in and Adam Silver walks the board, I want to make sure and send my thoughts and stuff to Klay Thompson, who apparently had a bit of a slight injury tonight. Hopefully minor, but we will see. So, thoughts are with him as we get the pick in from the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, man, I'm just excited about this. I mean, there's so many good players out there. I was on the Wiseman train, but there's actually a group of guys, 5 to 6 guys that are all quality players that can be picked here. I agree with your assessment about Ball. Tremendous talent. And, unlike the guy that just went, he is an elite ball handler. I mean, there's no doubt, like, this guy's game is going to translate to the NBA. He does need to gain a little weight, and he's going to have to work on his defense, but almost every player on the board does, except perhaps Wiseman. What do you think about Killian Hayes sneaking up the board here?
I like Killian Hayes. He's one of many international players in this year's draft that's kind of been spotlighted with not having NCAA and the college ranks going on.
Well, I don't see him going before Ball, but I think the next point guard off the board, maybe him.
No, after Ball, yeah, it looks like the pick for Golden State is going to be Wiseman. James Wiseman. When they announce it here, so
it's nice to know they're watching the show, paying attention, getting some good advice.
See, the thing is, you can just also too, if you don't have your TV up, you can just go on Shams and Woj from ESPN. I swear to God, like they must have like a internal battle between the two of them. Who can drop insider information faster? Because they are coming out fast and furious, just trying to undercut Adam Silver in the NBA draft. So not going to call it official as Adam Silver hasn't come out with it, but it looks like James Wiseman is the second overall pick in the draft to the Golden State Warriors. So
on Twitter, the Minnesota Timberwolves have made it official on their account, saying the Ant-Man is now in Minnesota. And that's a pretty good time there to queue up some Ant-Man highlights, because this guy is awesome, man. He plays above the rim. I mean, he's definitely going to make that his rim, and he's going to defend it, isn't he?
Absolutely, he is. So
A
there
lot
it
of
is. Yeah,
fun.
the picks coming in for Wiseman from out of Memphis. Uh, solid pick for Golden State. He's going to fit in really well with Steph. Number one recruit for 2019. Before everything kind of went to crap. This guy's going to be covering the rim. He's a defensive player. He he's going to, unlike what we were just talking about with Anthony Edwards, and he might not have his full game developed. Like James Wiseman, for the size he is, for the position he plays, he has that full arsenal of defending and being able to, get offensive rebounds, get in at the rim. So, big center, he's gonna add a lot to Golden State.
Yeah, man. I mean, but they're so versatile in what Golden State can and is willing to do. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this young man. Like you say, he's got a complete toolbox. If this was baseball, you'd say he was a 5-tool player. He's really a lot of fun. Comparing him to old school guys, which is what I tend to do all the time, I'd say this guy is a David Robinson type player. Now, am I saying he's the next David Robinson? No, but I'm saying he seems to approach the game like that, and the results come out David Robinson-like. He's very dedicated, knows what he's doing, has a high basketball IQ. He's not just flailing around out there. He plays smart. I really like this kid. I think this is a solid pick.
I really like that he's going to be the Golden State went with him because Draymond Green is going to be able to teach this guy so many extra aspects that he kind of has that he just needs to polish off. And yeah, I mean, Golden State could be a team to talk about next season again. They could be back in the mix for one of the top teams in the West.
Yeah, we just don't know, man. We just don't know. But I tell you what, I like this pick. Now, this leads some really interesting dissection coming up for the Charlotte Hornets here because, Ball's still out there. And a lot of people were talking about Ball going number one because, as you say, it's not about the floor. It's about the ceiling ultimately and the draft. And his ceiling, I think everybody agrees, it's pretty high.
Yes. I think that, I'm surprised it's even taking the Hornets so long to get to the draft podium, but they're obviously
should be tripping and shit getting up there, huh?
Hey, come on. We do show for a reason. It's made for TV stuff right now. So obviously DeMelo Bell, he's got to be the pick for Charlotte unless they're going to go off the rails here and go, somebody else. But I think this could be the last, solid pick. I guess not solid picks, but one that we know for sure is going to come. Because, after this, when we get to Chicago, there's a lot of great players that Chicago could pick. Like you said, you've already mentioned Obi Toppin. We have Denny Avage.
Yeah, he's the safest pick. And of the top 5 guys, I think, is Obi. He's older, 22 years old, something like that. And I don't think that works against him here. This guy is solid. You're not worried about him going wild when you give him some money. He seems to be, well-grounded. I think this guy has the highest floor out of the top 5 to the top 10 guys, without a doubt. This guy is a safe pick. So right down here around 3 to 5, I think that would be a great place for him to go. But you never know. Like we said, it's more about upside in the draft, not the floor.
See, now I got Obi going at 5 to Cleveland. Somebody's mentioned we got the Lake Show Lobo the kid. Lake Show, they don't have a pick right now. What do you think? You're just gonna trade for somebody? Yeah, maybe.
LaMelo,
there we go.
Man.
LaBoy the kid, LaMelo, great fit in Charlotte. Yeah, see, now I see it too. And it looks like their pick is in. One of the things I want to mention about LaMelo and is just the fact that he has silenced LeVar Ball. We're not hearing any of the shenanigans. He's almost kind of no, come on, Dad, just let me get picked to the NBA. Let me go do my thing.
He's handled it a lot better than his sibling. And I think that has helped his draft stock. It should help his draft stock.
Yeah, and there it is. So it's official. LaMelo Ball is the third
Okay. I'm
overall
not
pick to the
surprised with
Charlotte
this.
Hornets.
Golf
Matt,
clap.
some of this guy's highlight package from the Australian Basketball League last year, Illawarra, is just unreal. His vision going down the court. Obviously, you say for a lot of young NBA players, they need to get their shot. They need to work on their shot. He's not any different than that. But the vision that this kid possesses and his NBA knowledge, and you got to think that it's just from his family and being around the game for so long. This kid has IQ. Like he sees the floor and sees things like other people don't.
Yeah, again, his ball handling, his vision, his basketball IQ. I totally think you nailed it in those areas. And work on his shot is kind of an all-around thing. I think his shot selection is more of what he needs to work on than his shot per se. And then as he adds strength, I think his shot is going to smooth out, and because he's going to be coming from a much better place when he lets it go. So I think that should naturally progress. This is a great pick for the team.
See, now
And
one of the things
Bulls.
I'm kind of curious though about him going to Charlotte, just because they obviously Michael Jordan is in the ownership, but they're not one of the big markets. Do you think that's going to be a problem for him?
It shouldn't, because it's not a big market, but it is a basketball town.
That's true. Yeah, that's a basketball market.
They
Yeah.
bleed basketball there, man. That's right there on Tobacco Road. I mean, you go there, it's like being up in Iowa, man. I mean, you have basketball hoop in your backyard. Okay, you darn right you do. So
yes,
he'll be just fine. He'll be
like you
fine.
said, we got Chicago on the clock now. So.
And this is really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of places they could go. I like Killian Hayes sneaking up here, because I think, in the game today, point guards are any kind of guard is at a premium in the game today, followed by small forwards, power forwards, and then centers at the end. That's just the way the game is played right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As I go through my board here and let's see what the next is. Yeah, so we got lots of forwards.
Oh yeah,
up here, and I mean, if they want to go with guard, they got Tyrese Halliburton up there. They got Devin Vassell, which is kind of an interesting one too. Yeah, Killian Hayes. What I think he's linked to San Antonio Spurs. Oh, I can't remember his name. Tony Parker. Tony Parker.
Oh, come on, French guy. You gotta just plug him in there. And the thing is, I haven't looked as much tape as this guy as I would have liked to, so I can't really say exactly how it's going to turn out. But what I do like about him, he's 6'5", 192 pounds. So I mean, he's there. He's a very solid young man. He's got a better build than LaMelo. So he's solid. He understands. He's got a basketball IQ. This is a solid pick. If they decide to go there, I don't know, man. It's the Bulls. They've been kind of weird in the draft the last few years. I mean, okay, whatever. Not gonna go there.
Tom McAllister, you can stay out of the comments with your Warriors trying to draft a guard, because Klay Thompson's Achilles. He's fine. It just looks like a minor one. Okay. So Tom, either do your grading your papers or jump on the show and talk NBA with us. Okay.
No, we'll be watching
see you in the
Tom
comments.
in the comments.
Okay, there we go. We got the pick is in Patrick Williams.
Whoa. Okay, a guy we didn't talk about, of course.
No,
Yeah.
from forward from Florida State.
Yep. I could get again, a freshman too. So big guy, 6'8", 225 pounds. And man, I hope you know something about him, but he's not a guy I'm that familiar with.
I mean, I had him in the top 10, but I didn't think that was a need that Chicago was going to go for. Like you said, I kind of thought they were going to go for more of a guard.
Chicago.
Like you said, Chicago, obviously they have no real Thomas Gallus, not from what I saw. Obviously they really liked the kid and decided to go with a forward here. Obviously we have some flower power, which I love to see, and we're gonna get some maybe some good nicknames, but
well, you can't argue with it because, like you said, at least I can't. Because, like you said, we really have so little information on these players this year in regards to other years, other seasons. And there is no LeBron James at the top. There's nothing like that going on. So basically, after the first 2 or 3 solid guys, which have already been ripped off the boards, now there's room in the conversation for any guy rated probably in our top 15 to start going off the board now.
Yeah, I mean, with no one being able to scout the NCAA and just kind of focusing so much on athletes overseas,
Right.
You're looking at his numbers: 9.2 points a game, 4 total rebounds, 1 assist, and again, too, I believe a freshman. So it's an interesting, and we knew it coming in that this was going to be an interesting NBA draft. There was a lot of ways that teams could go, and we're seeing it right now. And I think, like you said, yeah, from besides the 3, kind of solid picks with Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, and LaMelo Ball, it's going to be off the chart. So that's kind of going to make for some exciting next little bit of watching the picks roll in.
Well, I think so too. And I think right now, not only do I like the Killian Hayes pick, but the Tyrese Halliburton. I like him right here too. Another guy, but now he's slight of frame. He, again, 6'5". That is the new point guard size, which is amazing to me. But this guy's only like 175 pounds only. Those kind of guys can fold in the NBA.
That is very true.
But
and we have some. Okay, so on what do we got here now? Cleveland Cavaliers are on the board next.
Correct.
And I had originally Obi Toppin going to Cleveland from Dayton. So what did you have on your board there for Cleveland?
For Cleveland, actually, I don't have it matched up like per team. I've just got my guys ranked. And, there's several guys on the boards, on my board right now that are available. Killian Hayes, Obi, Halliburton. I think any of those 3 could go. But again, I think the top 15 are in play here, not just the top 10. So, I can go down as deep as Tyrese Maxey, Keira Lewis Jr., even Aaron Nesmith. I mean, any of these guys could go right here. And I don't think you could say, oh, that's a reach. It's like, it's hard to say right now.
I literally, like, on my draft board, yeah, was thinking, okay, that they might go this way, but with the amount of uncertainty this year, it's just like a wide open board of absolute fun. And
I couldn't do it. I just tried to pick the first pick. That was it. I was wrong. I thought that Wiseman was the better pick, but actually the guy that I thought would go first went first, so.
I was wrong. I thought they would go with LaMelo Ball.
Oh, I didn't. No, I thought Edwards would go. And I think Edwards, has the highest potential to be a top 10 bust in this draft.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say like top 10 player, and I was like,
No.
I mean, he could be good. I mean, yeah.
And I think he's gonna be good, but I'm just saying, when you draft a guy number 1, you're expecting more than good. I think that adds to the pressure on him. And, if they just throw him in there to the fire and he already doesn't have an elite skill, then he's gonna do what? Break guys down one-on-one? NBA's got some defenders, man. It ain't like college, so.
Very true. So while we wait for the Cleveland Cavaliers pick to come in, I see we got a couple people on the live chat. Feel free to comment in. I got my phone. We'll interact with you guys, give you a shout out. We'll talk to you. You guys can call us on our stupid shit if we do any of it, which we always do. As we have a commercial here on my end. I don't know if you're you got the same thing there, Van. But then yeah, and then also too, make sure you like and subscribe down at the bottom. Hit the big blue join button.
You know, another guy for Cleveland, I'll throw this in, is Denny Avdija. You know, he kind of fits them, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, forward from Tel Aviv. I really thought that I thought that was gonna be the Bulls pick. But they went all kind of off the board with Patrick Williams, so I could see him going to Cleveland because I do have Cleveland going with a forward, with kind of more of a power forward kind of person. But yeah,
this guy's really respected. Plus, he's a playmaker. And he does it from the forward position. So that's really valuable in today's game, especially when you swap up to small ball, etc. I think this guy could be really valuable. And because he's an international prospect, I think that skill set is becoming more and more revered in the league. And not just the flopping. Ooh.
I'm flipping between all of my my social medias here, and I got my phone, I have my big board, my notes, all of that stuff, and I'm just trying to see if there's anything coming down from the commercial. And we got Isaac Okoro from Auburn as the Cleveland Cavaliers pick. So that is 5th overall if everyone's keeping track.
And the Cleveland Cavaliers Twitter account, the official one, has announced the pick. And this is, again, I can't disagree with the pick, but it's not a thing that gets me all excited. What about you?
He's in my he's in my top 10. But again, we're throwing things out. I mean, we got Obi Toppin, we got.
Well, look, this guy is dynamic. All right, that's one thing you can say about him. He's got a lot of quick twitch. He can get up off the floor. He skies. That's what jumped at me as I looked at some film about him, is that he likes to play high. He's not going to be playing on the ground and sitting and moving. This guy's going to get up inside the paint. He's going to be up in the air.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like here from the. I mean, one of the things is I can't remember so many of these players because I didn't get to watch them.
It's tougher this year, man. I mean, basically, if not for YouTube, I would have been hurting trying to see film on these guys. The YouTube experience has really helped, and that hurts to say. But hey, here we are on YouTube.
Here we are on YouTube. So
all right, now come on, it's time for Halliburton or OB or Killian to go now. Come on, enough of these small forwards and power forwards and stuff.
Yeah, look, Atlanta Hawks needs. They're great up and coming team. They could probably make the playoffs this year with kind of what the East looks like, and. Yeah, there's some good names on the board for them to take, but again, I mean, I could see them taking. I checkmarked the wrong person on my thing.
I think point guard would fit them really well right here. I mean, a ball handler, a ball facilitator. Who can't use that? And then also, you're going to get them when they're young, bring them up in your system. That's ultra valuable, right?
Sorry, I'm bringing up.
I'm just cracking up on this one article I'm looking at where Ball says he was born to be the overall number 1 pick. Nobody else. I'm like, oh, well, not the best way to start your career out, is it?
Yeah, that didn't work out very well for him. I'm trying to do too many things at once. I have too many tabs open. What do you see? What, Killian Hayes then? If you think they need a point guard, I don't think they need a point guard.
Hayes or Halliburton, I think, is the pick here. But, they could also go, Obi Toppin. So, am I saying his name right?
Yeah, you are.
There's also Isaac Okoro here.
I don't know. This,
sticking with the forwards. And, if they wanted to go center here, there's a few centers worth looking at here.
you clicked off you check marked off the wrong personality because Isaac went to the Cavaliers. That's what they're bringing up right now.
There you go. I'm on a roll tonight, man.
Well, like I said, like I am too. I'm trying to do too many things at once, and I'm trying to figure out. But no. I think that the Atlanta Hawks are going to. Their pick is in, and I think we are going to see a forward. I think they're going to go with Obi Toppin. But I again have been completely wrong, except for actually I've been completely wrong.
No, haven't got one right yet.
I called the LaMelo Ball.
You did.
But I think that they're going to kind of try and find a compliment for Trae Young. And I think Obi Toppin has he's ready to go, and he could kind of help the team next year.
Cleveland seems to be very pleased with this pick on Twitter. Lots of players jumping in saying welcome to the family. So that's nice to see. The same thing in Chicago. Patrick is getting a lot of love on Twitter, which is also really nice to see. You want these players to be welcomed with open arms, yes?
Trying to navigate all of these devices in the Twitter and find out everybody. So the pick is in, so we're waiting to hear from it. Van, you're saying a point guard? They're going point guard?
I think that's the smart pick here. That's what I would do. But then again, I'm not the GM. But Obi, I think would be the value pick here. But Killian Hayes, I think he really fits here, and I like Killian Hayes just a little bit better than Halliburton, just because of his body.
Well, you just see DC kind of him working with Trae Young and just providing that partnership that he would need to just kind of move Atlanta to the next level. Oh, bless you.
Yes.
In short sneeze answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that, those types of things are really needed, especially with these, younger players that come up.
So number one on the board is Tyrese Halliburton. That's what they're saying. But we will see what the Atlanta Hawks are going to do as Adam Silver stepped up to the microphone right now. So if there's any Atlanta Hawks out there, what do you guys think? Who do you, or Atlanta Hawks fans out there?
Hardwood. Have you seen any film on him?
Not much. A little bit last year at USC, but
he's solid. That's the thing, man. 6'9", 245 pounds. He's going to continue to grow.
I am off my charts. I'm going down so many numbers and picking things and clicking things off. It's just absolutely terrible.
Well, let's just, just hang with what's going on here. We know the players, so that's okay. A guy that I see maybe sneaking up the board here, or as we come, or actually, we could talk about him and his fit. I thought that they might go center. That's why I was dwelling on that, but I pushed it out of my hand going nah, they're not going to do that. Boy, was I wrong. But I like this kid. I like him a lot. So, he can play. He can play in the NBA. He's got the frame. He'll be great, whether it be, especially for some small ball lineups. I really like the way that he moves. He's got some nice instincts. This guy's going to fit in well, I think.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna get some rebounds. He's gonna be big in the box and in the key at both ends of the court. You know, I can see him.
Well, can
being
you
a fit
imagine
with Trae
Charles
Young.
Barkley playing center in a small ball world? Yeah, that's what this kid can bring. That type of energy and that type of forcefulness, and you need that, man.
Yeah, and there's not a lot. I mean, this draft is really shy for centers, right? I mean, the NBA, like you said, the NBA is shy for centers. That's almost like a forgotten position.
Well, I mean, this guy is not a typical center. He's what I was saying, a small ball center. He's got a nice shot selection, and he's got a high percentage that he makes them. This kid's a real deal. Solid pick here. I didn't see them going center, but there's no denying the talent here. He was in my top 10, so.
No, I had him at 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I
And
had
at number 9.
I had him at 8. Yeah, I had him going to the Knicks.
The Knicks. Hey, unfortunately, and I'm sorry, Killian Hayes, I see you going to the Knicks. And I hate to do that to somebody, man. I mean, that's like, oh man, no. That's like why quarterbacks stay in the NCAA, because they think that the Jets might draft them. It's the same type thing. Nobody wants to go to the Knicks. Nobody.
So we got Detroit Pistons pick is in now. Pick number 7. Adam Silver is up at the microphone at the podium, and it is Killian Hayes.
Oh, dude, that is such great news for him.
So point guard from France doesn't have to go to the New York Knicks. He gets to go
that
to
is great news
the
for
Detroit
him.
Pistons. Dwayne Casey should be pretty happy about that one.
Oh, heck yes. I mean, this is a solid pick all the way around. And if I'm Killian Hayes, I'm getting down on the floor. I'm kissing the hardwood right now, saying, thank you, hardwood gods. You kept me out of hardwood hell. You kept me away from the Knicks. Thank you. And I don't, man, Hayes is a guy, I really like his game, okay? But man, it's hard to say exactly how the game like that is going to translate to the NBA.
Well, he's got a smooth style. Detroit's they're not doing much right now. But I think it could be a kind of a good pick for them.
Well,
work well with Blake Griffin.
It's Dolan time. Yeah. Which there's really no idea who could be picked here. You could drop down to the end of the draft and pick a guy out, and he could go right now. You just have no idea. Because you don't know if, Dolan's going to pick up the phone, call up and say, I want this guy. Can you imagine being a New York Knicks fan? That would just be brutal, man. That would just be brutal.
That would be terrible. That would be like Tom McAllister, who sounds like he's going to join us here.
Not after that comment. All right.
But we will see. So the Knicks are on the board.
Oh man, I tell you what, the Knicks.
It's just 8th pick.
I'm researching an article actually about the most dysfunctional organizations in sports, and the Knicks are vying for the top spot. They are that bad. And it all comes down to Dolan. I mean, not only is he screwing up his current teams, he's taking his stars from years past and getting in arguments with them, getting them banned from the arena because he doesn't like what they say on social media or something like that. I mean, the guy has super thin skin, and oh, dare we say it, he's a dick. So.
Okay, so Tom's messaging me. He's saying Obi Toppin's going to the Knicks. So
that's a solid pick. I don't see that happening.
Again, that's the best player in my opinion left on the board right now.
Yes.
And I can't see James Dolan making that smart of a decision.
No. Or yes. However, I agree with you. Okay. Oh, that is too funny. Okay, what do we got over here in Luis MMG?
I guess the only thing is we don't have James Dolan to actually see or embarrass himself this draft.
I'm
As much as fun as
this.
that. No, and I enjoy that too.
Another guy here again. I mentioned him earlier, Saddiq Bey. I really like this guy. From the wing, and he can shoot the tray, man. He can shoot the tray. He's a very sexy pick, and plus he plays some pretty good defense. He can guard multiple positions because he's got some nice size on him. He's got good movement on him. I could see this guy sneaking up here.
Yeah, you could work well with RJ Barrett. But geez, I mean, if they go with Obi Toppin, you got the Canadian connection. I wouldn't mind that.
Oh no, I can't believe that. Well, I can believe it easily, but I expected Obi to go higher. I did, just because I mean he has no weaknesses really. He's an all-around guy. I mean, and that he's not going to fail.
Also, two left on the board, Denny Avaya. You got Tyrese Halliburton, Devin Vassell, like you mentioned already, Saddiq Bey, Aaron Nesmith. That kind of rounded out my top 10. But again, it's the New York Knicks, so their pick is in.
Oh, goodness. Okay,
we
can start the jokes right now then, okay?
Because Tom's going to join up here. I just got to make sure that he can find the link. And then it is Obi Toppin. So, yes, okay.
Okay, well, now you know why we want Tom McAllister here.
The New York Knicks actually made James Dolan. He's got a great pick,
but oh, my goodness. I wish he was here. All right. That's a solid pick, man. That's just a solid pick. It was the best value pick on the board, as well as being a good fit for what we think they might be trying to do in New York.
Okay, I'm sending him the link here so he can join, and hopefully Tom McAllister from New York. What is it, like 6, almost 9 o'clock for him?
Oh man, so he's just getting up for coffee right now. He's good.
Oh,
he's good. He's an early riser.
That's why I like this pick. And I hate that I'm saying, and I hate that I'm saying that about New York Knicks pick, but they made the right decision. They actually did the right thing.
And not only that, I could see this guy because he's the most NBA ready guy out there, I think. And I think you're looking at a potential rookie of the year right here.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, out of Dayton.
He's gonna get the floor time because he's on the Knicks.
It's going to be exciting to kind of watch him with RJ Barrett.
Yes. Well, to give him anybody talent to play with is going to be exciting.
So, looking at his field goal percentage in from 2018 to 2020, as they're showing up here on the broadcast, 64% from the field. So, the guy, for a big guy, he can shoot, which is fantastic. Definitely got some of, those other attributes and can work kind of a pick and roll game with RJ Barrett. So, yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm excited to see when Tom logs in, because he's probably going to be pretty happy there.
Well, I mean, this guy's field goal percentage is off the charts. What's not to be impressed by it? But I like his frame. He's NBA ready. He's got some strength in his frame. He's not a weak guy. And I really like that. I like the power that he uses when he goes to the basket. There's nothing not to like about this guy.
6'9", 220. He's ready to go. And Tom McAllister is joining us now. The New York Knicks just put in their pick. Tom, what do you think about that one?
I can pinpoint the era where the Knicks franchise started to go to garbage. Anyone remember the name Frederick Weiss?
No.
He was the person who Vince Carter dunked on in the 2000 Olympics. I mean, literally
I remember that play though. Yeah. Okay.
jumped over. And Frederick Weiss was picked ahead of Ron Artest. Ron Artest went to St. John's. He made an impact in the NBA, to say the least. But that was an example of when the Knicks franchise, which I believe Dolan came in as owner, and they were like, who the hell are you picking? And boy, did they miss out. This one, Obi Toppin, he grew up 30 miles north of New York City. He was, as a junior in high school, he stood 6'2". As a senior in high school, he grew to 6'5". Went to a prep school, grew to 6'8". Went to Dayton, redshirted a year. Eventually, I think, grew to 6'9", developed his skills. This is someone who, potentially in the positionless basketball world that we live in now, he could make a tremendous impact. It does look like it could be a high value pick, where there's a lot of potential. And this is something where, you never know who has control of the Knicks. And also, if you're looking not that far away, if the Brooklyn Nets could have a trifecta, if James Harden gets traded. And this is something where, if you put Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, that's potentially a championship winning team. And you got to wonder if the loyal Knicks fan base will stop showing up to games for a losing team and go to Brooklyn. But we'll see if Knicks fans stop showing up and selling out for a losing team.
Well, why not? Because they've already banned most of the old Knicks stars. They're not even allowed in the arena anymore, right?
Yeah, because, they actually do this thing called win. So we don't want to do that. But I think, Charles Oakley was the one person who he was a fan favorite. There were some issues when he was at a game at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
It was something that didn't turn out well. I mean, James Dolan is an interesting figure, to say the least. You got to wonder.
I've already called him a dick, Tom. You can just go right by it.
I'm trying to be more diplomatic. So yeah, this is kind of something, hopefully, the NBA needs the New York Knicks.
Yes.
They
not what they have now. They need the New York Knicks, not
to be
what
good.
They've got now.
They need the New York Knicks to be relevant. They don't have to be winning championships, but if they're making deep playoff runs, that's good enough.
I just think you guys need to be, bring back Patrick Ewing and don't worry about anything.
Well, actually, James Dolan wanted to sign him, but, they talked him out of it. Because he would play like he did in Space Jam when he lost his talent to the Moonstars.
Yes, pretty much.
But this is something too, though. The Knicks picks, they never really developed. They would have some decent rookie years, but they never would take the next step. Whether it was Tim Hardaway, Amon Shumpert, Kevin Knox really hasn't developed. We'll see about
There's
RJ.
no
Barrett.
culture there for anybody to develop or excel. The only culture there was for talent to come get spoiled. That was it.
And I think too, it's astounding when you look at once the talent leaves New York, they're all of a sudden a better player.
Amazing.
That is something that I think is alarming, to say the least. Where it's going to show. I'll give Dolan credit. He'll win the press conference. He'll bring in Phil Jackson. He'll bring in all these coaches. He'll bring in Larry Brown. He'll bring in Isaiah Thomas. And they'll do horrible. They'll bring in Mike D'Antoni. And then all of a sudden they go somewhere else. And, oh, my God, they learned the game again.
Hey Tom, have you ever wondered what it would look like if Jerry Jones owned a basketball team? There you go.
No. Well, I'll tell you this.
I'm going to interrupt you two real quick here because the Washington Wizards
Oh,
their pick, and
we got a
Danny
trade?
Avdija is off the board. They went with him, so he will be joining John Wall and Brad Beasley as long as they don't get traded. But still a long night.
That's a good pick. That's a value pick there, I think.
Yes, because I had him in my top 5. I had him at 4 there. So I will let you guys get back to the banter as we have the Phoenix Suns pick on the clock right now, because I have to go off and stop my video as I use the washroom.
All right, well,
There you
Tom, I was going to mention the only player that didn't get better when he left the Knicks was Lynn Sanity.
Yeah, and that was something where you kind of saw that, to say the least. Man, I remember Linsanity.
That was awesome, wasn't it?
I think that was 9 years ago. I think they should build a statue in honor of Mike Woodson because he actually won a playoff series.
Yeah, good call.
And that was something where, it was great. I think they maybe traded a little bit too much for Carmelo Anthony, but also you got to give Carmelo Anthony credit. He was an NBA superstar that wanted to go to the Knicks. Very few people want that.
That's what I mentioned before you came on. Nobody wants to go to the Knicks right now. Nobody. And you can't blame them.
It's also, too, I think what the Knicks are trying to do is they think all of a sudden, hey, you know what? We just need one big free agent class. That's not happening. You got to make yourself relevant before free agents would want to come to New York.
Wouldn't you say also that the Knicks need to reestablish the Knicks culture? A Knicks culture. Right now, their culture it's sour, it's foul, it's soiled.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's been like this it's been dysfunction.
Yes.
And it's something where, how many head coaches have they gone through? They keep on, they'll spend money on the executives and they'll do this and that, but it's just something's wrong there. And this is something where, I think if you want to rebuild the Knicks, you got to admit to yourself, we're not going to do it in 1 year. We're going to have to draft well. We're going to have to develop talent. I'm not a fan of tanking. Because you should not put your faith in lottery balls and ping pong balls. You're just doomed. There's no player, very rarely is there a player that's going to turn around a franchise like a Tim Duncan or anything like that. I always feel like, you try to win a developing culture, you try to win that way. And then what you could do is if you manage the cap properly, you can pluck that missing piece in free agency, and get your big 3 or whatever has happened.
Right.
So that's kind of something to look at. But I like this Obi Toppin selection. He's a New York player, a late bloomer.
I love it. I think he's got the highest floor of any player in the top 10, top 20, whatever you want to say. I mean, he's a safe pick, man.
I do think so. When you look at it, Anthony Edwards was a freshman. James Wiseman, I don't think he played a game. You have LaMelo Ball. I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan took LeVar's comments personally, and I look forward to that encounter. And I really wonder if Jordan picked LaMelo Ball. I was like, oh, his father said he can beat me one-on-one. Oh, I'm going to take it personally. But yeah, I think this draft, it wasn't as star-studded as last year's, especially with no NCAA tournament. I really think if there was an NCAA tournament and Obi Toppin led Dayton on a significant run, he would have been drafted a lot higher. But it's kind of tough when, Edwards, he had a, good year at Georgia. Wiseman didn't even play a game.
That's just freaky. But I still love Wiseman as a pick. I really do.
I think so. It's just you didn't see him in game time situations.
That's valid. That's valid, man. Valid point.
Which is like, it's one thing if you're like Kevin Durant and you're putting up 40 plus games at 6'10", hitting threes on people. Okay, We get that. Like a workout's great, the talent is there, but the atmosphere isn't. And this is something like they have to be going off his film from high school,
Right.
you know, or they're buying the hype.
But it's awesome film, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, you know, outside of Karl Anthony Towns, there really are no dominant centers. And if you get a dominant center, all right, who are you going to stop him with? You know, Draymond Green, if you get a good enough center, you're going to need a lot of help inside.
Yeah, I really like the way that the game is evolving right now in that aspect. How like occasionally they'll have, you know, these centers match up, and it's like, okay, what do we do? Because you know everybody's playing, you know, the smaller ball, the versatile move, and everything, and then they run into a team that has, you know, a dominant center, and it's like, wow.
I think we saw it in the NBA Finals or just in the NBA playoffs last year with the Lakers, and them kind of employing Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard just as just, you know, like big defensive, strong forwards, almost center type players.
Right.
Yeah, I think with Anthony Davis though, he might actually, because when LeBron played in the quote big three, there would be another guard, there'll be another dominant wing and or guard and another dominant big. Kevin Love and Chris Bosh pretty much turned into spot up jump shooters when they played with LeBron. With, you know, Anthony Davis, it was just, you know, there really wasn't that second guard. So Davis a lot of times would just dominate the paint. And that was, you know, I guess a little bit refreshing to say the least. But Anthony Davis also opted out of his contract. And you got to wonder if he'll sign with LA going forward.
I doubt it.
Okay, so we got the pick in from the Phoenix Suns. Jalen Smith, power forward from Maryland, goes number 10. And that's kind of what we're seeing is teams going with like a power forward, kind of more of a dynamic forward, as opposed to wanting to go with point guards or maybe, you know, somebody that they're not too sure of, because Tyrese Halliburton, he's still on the board. You got Devin Vassell still on the board. Aaron Nesmith still on the board. So, Keira Lewis Jr. still on the board. So lots of guards still on the board, and teams are looking to go with kind of a power forward type thing.
Well, I also think too, when you look at the Suns, you already got Devin Booker and you traded for Chris Paul. So you want to get that compliment. You don't want to go out. And, you know, you might be able to make an argument if there's a good enough point guard and you had Chris Paul be like, listen, we want, you know, who better to learn from than Chris Paul? And I think
exactly, yeah.
You know, part of me wishes Chris Paul went to a contender, because I think he was so close to winning a championship in Houston. And, you know, he's one of the guys I want to see get an NBA title before he retires.
Oh, man, I agree with that 100%. And with what you're saying in mind here, you know, Halliburton's available. And I really like him. I mean, he is such as he gains a little weight, you know, he's not going to gain a lot of weight. His frame is what it is. But the guy can move, and man, can he shoot. So
that's true. Those are skills, you know, especially if you got someone like Devin Booker and Chris Paul who can create the spot up shooter would be great. But it's also, you know, you need compliments to what you already have. You know, as much as talent is important, you also need complementary talent.
Well, this is where I like, I keep mentioning him and nothing's happening with him. You know, Sadiq Bey. I mean, the kid can shoot. I mean, and it's going to work in the NBA. I mean, he's got size. He can move. This kid can fit in with almost any team. But if you take a kid like this and you put somebody like Chris Paul teaching him and feeding him, oh, sweet money.
I would say, you know, Sadiq Bey, he's almost, him and Obi Toppin, you might also put in the same category. So, you know, Sadiq Bey went to Villanova, and honestly, Villanova is probably one of the premier schools right now where they don't get all these elite All-American talent out of high school, but they develop guys into NBA players. You know, and this is someone too where he's another one Sadiq Bey improved drastically from his freshman year to his sophomore year, and it just made a lot of sense for him to go into the draft. And he has the size, he
plays defense.
I know. And, he can put the ball in the basket. And also, I think guys coming out from Villanova, they know how to play the game the right way. They're not going to try. It's almost, if you're on the NBA level, you'd want to have the Villanova culture.
Yeah, otherwise you get these guys that are just ISO guys, and that's already a problem in the NBA. You don't want it as they're coming out. But I really like this kid. You can play him, at more than one position. He can guard more than one position. I really like him all the way around. But again, I can't believe that Halliburton has dropped. He's got skills, man. He's got skills. But I don't see him going right here because I don't think he fits the team.
Yeah, it's, with, Halliburton, I believe he's one of those overseas players that people haven't seen a lot of. And they're an unknown commodity. And a lot of times when you make a lottery pick, you want to energize the fan base. If you make that Halliburton pick, you won't energize really the fan base.
That's true.
So that's something to keep in mind too.
Well, it looks like Halliburton's going to stay on the board as San Antonio's pick is in with number 11, selecting Devin Vassell. Literally, Shams and Woj are just alternating, dropping these picks before they actually come out on the TV, which is hilarious.
Devin Vassell was the guy I had just under all the guys that we talked about. I was like, okay, I'm not going to mention him, But, Tom, we were talking earlier because of the way the lack of playing time that we've seen from players this season, the lack of competition that they're playing against is part of it too. Once you get past the top 3 or 4 guys, top 5, let's say, be generous. I mean, you could have a guy that a lot of people have rated number 20 could go at number 10 and nobody can really argue with it.
Yeah. I think, because you can critique, the one critique on Obi Toppin was, well, he played at Dayton, he played for the A-10. Usually if there's an NCAA tournament and you lead an A-10 team on a run, that helps out. Look at UNLV about 30 years ago when they had Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon. They're coming out of the Western Athletic Conference, and they were able to go out and show that these guys from the quote mid-major can play. And I think that's something that really hurt, Obi Toppin and a lot of these players. You really couldn't see them in that NCAA tournament atmosphere, which can really separate players and bring up your draft stock. Players didn't have that opportunity.
Well, he's going to a heck of a team. I mean, Jalen Smith, if he was going to pick a team that he could go to and possibly, and it'd be like, wow, man, you've got a chance to really learn the game the right way here. I mean, if I was him, I would be like just ecstatic right now. Yeah,
I mean, you got to look at it and be like, no, I'm playing with Devin Booker. I'm playing with Chris Paul. I got the talent around me. There's not as much pressure. I think those guys are easy to blend with, and those will be, you can have a very solid career. And also, if Devin Booker plays the way he's going, you can potentially, in time, make a run in the Western Conference.
Well, not only that, I mean, with the position he plays, look at who he can tap into for some information. They have some guys on the Spurs that are, he was on the bench as a coach last season, but now he's going to be in the front office, I understand. I mean, they also have David Robinson, that they can call on to. I mean, this guy can ask the front officer, say, hey, I'd like to talk to fill in the blank, fill in the Hall of Famer's name. And that's a hell of a resource to learn from.
I really think if an NBA player had their choice at least a few years ago, they would want to go to the San Antonio Spurs. But the thing is now, I think a lot of the teams are now copying what the San Antonio Spurs have done.
I agree.
With the adaptation of, the Spurs were the first one that, would rest players. even though it's controversial, that was something that was key. Every team now copies it. They place heavier emphasis on the three-point shot. They brought in the European players, and a lot of those things are being copied by all the other NBA teams. So now you got to wonder, will the San Antonio Spurs or another team create a new blueprint to be successful in the NBA?
So the San Antonio Spurs pick is in, and they are going with Tyrese Halliburton.
All right, man. There you go.
So that is an absolute steal at number 11 number 12 for the Sacramento Kings.
They're not afraid of players that come from overseas, et cetera, stuff like that. They're used to developing guys. Again, if you're him, you're so excited about coming to the Spurs, right?
Yeah, anyone would be comfortable with the Spurs. The Sacramento Kings, I think they had their heyday with Michael Bibby, and it is Jason Williams' 45th birthday. That Jason Williams who played for the Kings. So I think Sacramento, they got very close to an NBA title in the early 2000s, and they kind of really haven't been able to refine their magic.
Well, yeah, they had the ownership problems, all sorts of stuff. I mean, that's a thing. But I tell you what, a player that's sneaking up my board right now, and because I haven't even picked as a really interesting guy, Isaiah Stewart. He's another one of these what I call small ball centers. He can play center, but he can play it. Don't tell anybody. Huh?
Don't tell the rest of the NBA, because I'd like him to fall to 29 to the Toronto Raptors. Thank you very much.
Well, you know what? I think Isaiah Stewart is, when you look at old school, like the NBA type body, Isaiah Stewart has that body. And he could be a player where it's like, you know what?
Charles Barkley, man.
I would say this, be like, you know what? Just rebound. Be like a Ben Wallace type.
Oh yeah. Ben Wallace is a much better. Yeah, exactly.
Because I think, the NBA where the center needs to be the best scorer and the best rebounder is gone. But Isaiah Stewart could be one of those big physical guys that'd be difficult to match up with. And I do believe the Knicks have another draft selection coming up in the first round, or they moved up a little bit, I think, to 23 today.
Yeah.
So I think that will be a little interesting too.
So we got next on the board, we got the New Orleans Pelicans. Hearing trade murmurs.
Man, I bet you they are PO'd that the guy that maybe they were looking at just went to the Spurs.
Just went. No, I think they were wanted. Well, I think anyone after 10 pick would have been happy to get Tyrese Halliburton. So, for the Pelicans, trying to think of what's going to fit with Lonzo Ball and Zion Williamson. Looking at the board, you mentioned him, Van Sadiq with from Villanova, just as a shot taker. He could provide them with some options there. So it'll be interesting to see what the New Orleans Pelicans do with this pick at number 12.
I think an interesting player would be Precious Achiuwa from Memphis, 6'9", 225. James Wiseman was supposed to be the centerpiece of that recruiting class for Penny Hardaway at Memphis, but since James Wiseman didn't play, Precious Achiuwa became that. And I just think too, he's one of those big guys too. He has the size, and he's not a traditional post player. He could also play wing, and I think that would be a good complement with Zion Williamson, where he's technically bigger than Zion Williamson, but he could probably play a small 5 or a big 4 for you and create matchup problems.
Yeah, that could be an interesting pick there.
So, but hey, we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will. I basically, it's with the Pelicans, it's so exciting because Zion Williamson, man, you just got to find somebody that can coexist with him.
Yeah.
That's your whole goal in life.
What do you guys think about New Orleans going with someone like Alexei Pushikevsky?
Very good job. I had people standing by to help you in case you needed it. I don't, is he the next Sean Bradley, man?
He could be. He's got a nice. He's got the shot.
He can score.
Yeah, and that could almost be, kind of what New Orleans needs. Depends on. Again, this draft, I love it because there's so many different options. There's so many different ways all the teams could go. So
well, that kid's been talked about being like, just outside the top 10, all the way down into the second round. So I really don't know where he's going to go, but he's 7 foot what, and he can score. Of course, 7 foot, yeah, he can score. All right,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely something too. When you're building a team, Zion Williamson is your franchise. You got to build around him while you got him on that rookie contract. And if you draft the right player to go along with him, the Pelicans could be a force for a long time, especially if you let Anthony Davis walk too.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of guards available right now, but man, I really like the Sadiq Bey as a value pick right in here. And he really fits anywhere he goes. So that's an exciting situation there.
Yeah, I think with Sadiq Bey, he's a safe pick. And I think Precious Achiuwa would be more of a gamble. Where, you kind of know what you get with Sadiq Bey. Precious Achiuwa, he would have a higher upside, but it could also not fully develop either.
Well, anytime you can get somebody that can, shoot from downtown, that's going to help Zion Williamson because it's going to help free up the paint.
Yeah, and I also think too, Precious Achiuwa, at 6'9", he can find mismatches if he can also create off the dribble too.
He's a talented guy. I like him a whole lot. So, as you can tell, I keep mentioning him, so I must.
Well, the New Orleans Pelicans pick is in. Adam Silver is at the podium right now announcing it. So with the 13th overall pick, Keira Lewis Jr., point guard from Alabama. So we were all right about the point guard. We were right that they were going guard, and they went down a little bit to Keira Lewis Jr. So what do you guys think?
Darn it, I almost mentioned him. I'm so PO'd at myself. I was just looking at him a moment ago and like, it's just a little early for him, I thought. But, point guard, yeah, they do need one. So.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball's not somebody you want to be bringing the ball up. If he can kind of solidify that position, I could see it helping out the team and kind of being a playmaker, or not necessarily being a playmaker, but being that person that allows Lonzo Ball to be a playmaker for Zion Williamson. So I don't mind this pick. I don't mind this one at all.
Yeah, but Josh, let me ask you this question. Was Lonzo Ball brought up to be a playmaker for someone else or just be a playmaker for himself?
I think he was originally brought up to be a playmaker for himself, but you've seen he moved out of, the ball shadow, and he kind of even broke out. He's not represented by his dad's firm anymore. Mm-hmm. I think he's realized that, okay, I need to actually, if I want to be an NBA superstar, I need to focus
on my own.
Focus on the things that I'm great at, and if he can be a facilitator for not only Zion Williamson, but if Keira Lewis Jr. can help in that and take, I guess, pressure off him, bringing the ball up and doing some of those little small things, running plays, all those things. Then we could definitely see the New Orleans Pelicans making some headways and being a pretty dominant team for years to come.
I would say this. I think Lonzo Ball learned from his brother, because when his brother went into the league, dear God, was there a bullseye on him. And it had, you know, and I think LeVar also learned, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. You know, I can do all this big baller brand, but these NBA players, oh, wait, you know, because you got to remember, it's not a game to them. It's someone's job, you know, and you're not going to come in and make your money off me. And it's almost like, you know, the media gave him the attention, whether you thought that was right or not. It happened, and he had a rude awakening. So I think LaMelo was smart enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to do something called keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to distance myself.
Oh, I think Lithuania educated LaMelo a whole lot on the way the world really works.
Yeah,
right?
like, I'm not going to listen to my dad.
And my dad's got me stuck in Lithuania. All right. This is not working for me. I want to go home.
Well, why can't I go to UCLA? Oh, that's right. I'm in Lithuania.
What I'm seeing a bit on Twitter is, it just looked like the New Orleans Pelicans realized that Lonzo Ball is not a starter. But that's a lot to be seen.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. I mean, but, you know, they added talent to the team. That's what they need. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't disagree with what Tom was mentioning earlier. I think LaMelo Ball was drafted by the Hornets just so Michael Jordan could just mess with him. I think, Jordan's that petty. Oh, yeah.
We learned that. I'm looking forward to that one-on-one game.
Oh, you know it's happening. You know it's coming.
For all we know, Jordan's showing up, right? For all we know, Jordan was outside his house in his Jordan gear. You know what? You put on the big baller brand sneakers. I'll put on the Jordan sneakers. We'll see who wins.
Let's go downtown. Yeah, that's right, man. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun time.
Oh man, when he was, you know, coaching whatever, you know, and working with the Wizards there, I mean, he was breaking those young guys down. I mean, how many careers did he run?
I think you might be able to say Jerry Stackhouse was one.
Oh, yeah.
A former North Carolina guy, so you knew Jordan wrote Stackhouse even more, and I think Jordan called out all the teammates and all the guys like that, and that's something, you know, which you can critique, to say the least.
It's Jordan. You can critique it all you want. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the. If Jordan gives you some advice, you know, you'd probably listen to him.
Yeah.
You know, especially maybe if it's not draft pick advice, you know.
Oh, snap.
You know, I think Kwame Brown and Adam Morrison are two names to stick out. At least Isaiah Thomas.
Camera has an issue here. I'm going to work with this, but I'm still on audio, guys.
Yeah, so that was kind of something to say the least. So definitely be, oh boy, that's gonna be a fun press conference. You know, I think Michael might just let, you know, Lamar say something, and just, you know, Lamar will talk as Jordan's. Who knows? Michael might come out of retirement again. You know.
Okay, so jump in here. Boston Celtics are on the clock, and their pick is in. Also, to give a shout out to YGB. I'm not going to say your actual name because I can't. So he says, "What's up? Talk to me." So YGB, pick a better name for your YouTube handle so I can actually say it on the YouTube channel. Okay. Looks like the Boston Celtics picks in. I'm hearing Aaron Naismith for them. And yes. Oh wait. Nope. Still waiting to hear it. But they're. That's what I'm getting is Aaron Naismith. So they are going a little bit down on my list. Oh no, he was just under Killing Case. Okay, this is it. No, that's a steal then. Vanderbilt forward. Okay, yeah, and they drafted Aaron Naismith. So small forward from Vanderbilt. I don't think he'll play much, but it's a good pick. Basically, Boston taking one of the most talented players that's still on the board in the draft. So
I really think when you look at Boston's roster, you go with best available.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one position unless there's some trade coming up that we don't know about. They're kind of where they're sitting. They could contend for the conference championship.
Which is Tom. Oh, sorry, I hate to cut you off here, but just because they had the 3 first-round picks, they do feel they have 2 more. I was really surprised and shocked that they didn't trade or go for a trade or do something maybe even for next year or another year, because like you said, their roster's set. They can compete for a conference championship in the East this year.
I think when a lot of people say they don't make trades with Danny Ainge anymore because Danny Ainge is only going to make trades if they completely rip you off. You can kind of look at that Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade with the Brooklyn Nets, and I think Jason Tatum is the big talent that Boston got in return out of that. But I'll give the Nets credit; they were able to build themselves up into respectability, to say the least. So that's something that Brooklyn did. But it's also too, Ainge, coaches aren't going to help him out. Because they know Danny Ainge's MO. He's only going to come in to fleece you. So you got to wonder. I mean, granted, Danny Ainge, he has these 3 picks. I don't think this is the deepest draft, but also the way the NBA is, sometimes I think quantity is better than quality. You're better off getting those multiple picks. You just need to hit on one of them.
Yeah, and you're getting entry level deals, especially with how much money the teams are spending this year. And we know it's going to be the same cap as last year and the same luxury taxes last year. So
yeah, it's also too, having these guys under contract when Tatum comes up, or even a Jaylen Brown or something like that, they would be able to give them the money that they deserve, or at least keep them in. Because if you're Danny Ainge, you want to make sure Jason Tatum stays in Celtic green and white for the duration of his career.
100%. So it looks like the Orlando Magic pick is in at 15. It looks like they will be going with North Carolina forward North Carolina guard Cole Anthony. Yes, sir.
Yes, the son of Greg Anthony, another New York product. Cole Anthony is someone who, coming into North Carolina, he was supposed to have a breakout year, dealt with injuries. Roy Williamson had the first losing season in his prestigious career. I think if Cole Anthony was healthy, he would be a higher draft pick than number 15. And this is another one where, we have 2 New York products going in the first round. It's been a while since we said that. And also he's the son of Greg Anthony, former guard from UNLV and the Knicks, bounced around a little bit. So you got to wonder what type of career Cole will have. Roy Williamson thinks he'll be a great addition to the NBA. And Cole Anthony was supposed to be the franchise player at North Carolina, which is something that rarely happens in North Carolina. So it's, I think he's going to the Magic. I think that's probably a good place for him to go.
Okay, so we have some trade news. Sam Presti is at it again. He's using some of his first overall picks. Looks like Oklahoma City is acquiring Ricky Rubio, the 25th and 28th picks, in a package that includes the number 17th overall pick by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Looks like the Timberwolves still love them Ricky Rubio.
So that will be that's an interesting one as Sam Presti continues to just own the NBA for the next 6 years. I think 17 picks until 2026.
Well,
Hey guys, we got word of the Knicks moved up to, and they got another pick. They're now at number 23 overall.
Yep.
That was earlier, man.
That pick came out before. I think that pick came out earlier today.
My bad.
But that's another Utah trade where Utah's being very active.
Yeah, Utah Jazz did that. Yeah.
Detroit's looks like Detroit's going with Isaiah Stewart.
I'll tell you
16.
this, man, that Isaiah Stewart. When you think of Detroit Pistons, you think of Isaiah Stewart.
He's an Isaiah Stewart. That is perfect. That's the Detroit Pistons of old time. Ben Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of player that I envision playing for Detroit, and that's going to be a really nice combination with Killian Hughes there, or Killian is.
So yeah, but I definitely I think Isaiah Stewart, that's going to be a good addition right there.
Sorry, go ahead.
I could see Isaiah Stewart developing into maybe a DeAndre Jordan type player, where he's good at one or two dimensions. Let me rephrase that. He'll be excellent at one or two dimensions.
What are we getting? So we got Orlando's pick in, and I was saying Cole Anthony. Is that what we're getting here? That's what was reported. And yes, Cole Anthony drafted 15th overall to the Orlando Magic. So North Carolina, we're kind of getting ahead of things because the thing is taking slow. I figured that most of the teams would be.
Yeah, I know. It's I think 5 minutes. It's usually like 2 or 3. But yeah, it looks like they're showing up footage of Cole Anthony from, or not Cole Anthony, of
Greg Anthony. Yes.
As he was playing for the Knicks, picked him number 12 overall, 11 years in the league. But you know what? I'm looking at, some of the players still available. You still got Precious Achiuwa still available, who I think is going to be a very interesting pick. RJ Hampton, someone else that's a little bit intriguing. But hey, look at Cole Anthony. His father played in the league. I don't think there'll be any more pressure on him for it. But it looks like, what is it? A potential Portland trade. But yeah, it's going to be. I'll tell you this though, it's Tyrese Maxey. If you're going to take anyone from any school, you got to go with Kentucky. It's like Kentucky is one of the ones where they're better at turning out NBA stars than they are winning at national championships. So that's something I think that will be, something to keep an eye on. Because you have Tyler Hero developed into a star recently. Anthony Davis, beast, Carl Anthony, just, one of the schools, if you want someone who's going to be a stud, get someone from Kentucky.
So do we get that? So we have that trade. Portland has acquired.
It's rumored. It's rumored. It hasn't.
No, it's done. Portland.
It is done.
No. Yeah, it looks like Portland's acquired the 16th overall pick from Detroit.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what it was for.
Sadiq Bey's still out there. Van's favorite's still out there.
Yeah, looks like we got the 17 picks coming in now too. Jeez, things are coming in fast and furious. I don't know how Shams and Wood.
You want to? Yeah, it's good for Cole Anthony.
So yes, Cole Anthony to the Orlando Magic. We kind of saw that coming, and now we have again a trade, which is Detroit.
Robert Covington to the Trailblazers. Rockets get Trevor Ariza and 2020 first round pick.
Okay, so it's going three-way. They did do it with the Houston Rockets trade as well, because that was announced earlier in the day. There was details coming in on that. So it looks like Portland has taken that one. Van is back. Sadiq Bey is still on the board. Do you think Portland is going to? I don't think they're going to take Sadiq Bey. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe it.
I mean, you got Damian Lillard.
And
because Sadiq Bey is more of a power forward type. Lillard's more of a two guard. And I think, if you have Damian Lillard, you got a puncher's chance. Also, you're giving up Trevor Ariza. So this is something it's going to be interesting. I can see Portland going a few ways. Maybe they call up Bill Walton for his advice, and they end up drafting Jerry Garcia.
It looks like Portland's picks in, but I cannot see it.
Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart's going to Portland, staying in the West Coast.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's a potential. If Isaiah Stewart is the player we think he'll become, that's going to be a potentially lethal combo with Damian Lillard.
And my draft board, everything's getting ahead. They are getting ahead of themselves right now. They're like announcing the 17th overall pick right now. Looks like it's going to be the unbelievably hard to pronounce names, Alexei Posh.
Oh, that's where they went. Wow,
that wasn't even close. But it looks like he's going to Minnesota at 17. So Van, I know you'll be happy about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you're staying with us. I'm trying to keep up. Everybody, I'm sure you're keeping up on your draft boards. I don't know how you do it. I'm old school, so I use a paper and pen. Thank you, Lee. We have the best producers. I had a guest on today, and I was raving up my producer, Lee. And it's not just because I was kissing your ass, Lee. So don't worry about that, bud. But we got some good producers.
We won't tell you what he says when you're not here, Lee.
I'm seeing the comments on Twitter here that they're talking about how Isaiah Stewart is a reach. And I just don't see that, man. I like this kid. Is he developmental a little bit? Yeah, but most of these kids are one and done out of college. They're almost all developmental, aren't they?
Yeah, I just think though too. Isaiah Stewart, he put up 18 and 8 in college. So enough, and I think he's someone who can still develop more, learn the game more, and especially when you're playing with Damian Lillard, you're not going to have to come in and be a scoring threat right away.
Yeah.
And he can develop his own game, to say the least.
All right, well, guys, I'm sitting here looking at my board, and other than Sadiq Bey, who I had up obviously much higher on my board than anybody in the NBA had on theirs, or at least the top 15. Do you guys see anybody that is dropping here and or is a nice pick here in the second half of the draft before we sign off? Because again, as we established up at the beginning of this show, because of just the lack of playing time, the lack of fresh film, the lack of good competition, it is so hard to gauge the talent level of this draft, isn't it?
I definitely think it is. It's just, a long combination of things. And I think it's also there wasn't as much time to fully evaluate these players and with the stop and go and everything like that.
So yes, Alexei Pukav. You know what? I could say it so well in the green room, and I was saying it so great, so I'm not even gonna announce it. But
this is awesome. I'm just gonna put this on loop. I'm watching
Pick
all
is
day, man.
yeah, we're just gonna have to clip it. I'll never end it.
Ah.
I think I would get it from all the soccer names that I have to pronounce,
Oh.
as I will have
Right.
Renko Veselinovic on the show soon.
Holy moly. They just showed him and he stood up from the table he was sitting at.
He's
And,
massive.
And he just kept standing up and kept unfolding. It was like, whoa.
Is that
The
Isaiah
dude is
Stewart?
really tall. And it definitely has the Euro family around him, the Euro style. And, great to see. This kid's going to be a hard worker. And man, he can score. He can score. So, I
And he
mean,
has
there's
size.
nothing not to like about that.
So kind of comparing him to Kristaps Porzingis kind of player. And I can see that with his shooting ability, he's able to drive off the floor and being a big man, being able to, have those handles. So this is
But
one.
is he as injury prone as Kristaps Porzingis?
See, that's the thing. When you get a guy like that, is he athletic enough to be able to cushion himself as he's coming down to the floor? Or is he going to come down, with flatter feet, which is what a lot of guys his size, his type of build tend to do. And then his body gets shocked a lot. He gets bounced a lot. But if you watch this kid play, I've actually seen some film on him. I don't need to see what they're showing right now. This guy can get up around the rim and he can do it like from across the other side. He can move quickly. He's got some snap to how he moves. He doesn't move like you think his body would let him move.
And one of the things that I really like about him playing with Olympiacos is he's playing with men already, right? And we've kind of seen it with Luka Doncic making that jump from the European leagues and playing with men and playing in an elite league.
Correct.
And coming it over and being able to translate the skills, say more than maybe a high school player or a collegiate player at this level.
Well, something, Josh, I think something for American basketball fans that makes it more difficult to evaluate the European players is there's many different levels of basketball in Europe. For example, there could be like the AAA league, which is pretty much NBA talent, or there could be lesser league going forward as the Dallas Mavericks draft Josh Green from Arizona.
Okay, enough about Lithuania. Okay.
Ooh, yes. We're going to Australia. Is that Josh Green Australian? Spent some part of his life in Australia?
I guess so. He went to Arizona. I'm a little surprised he might be the first one off the board from Arizona, as he put up 12 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 1.5 steals. But I guess the Mavericks see something. You know what? They like the foreign-born players. They had great success with Dirk Nowitzki. They traded for Kristaps Porzingis. They got Luka Doncic. So, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that. Insofar as a landing spot, I don't think he could have picked a better place.
No,
I'm watching some highlights of this kid right now. He's got some hops.
Oh, yeah. And he's, when he goes up in the air, he'll stay balanced, and he's got some strength as he goes up. You're not just going to knock him off when he's up in the air, a la Sean Bradley. That's what I was talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. And just watch him explode, which is a lot of fun, actually. They actually could have made a Hasbro game out of that, and I think it would have done well.
Well, I think, Green will probably come in and they'll try to make him a defensive stopper. I thought Nico Mannion might have been the first Arizona player off the board. But hey, I guess Mark Cuban liked what he saw.
So we got a trade as well, another trade, as it looks like the Brooklyn Nets are trading their pick to the Clippers for Landry Shamet. So the Clippers will be picking number 19th overall, and there is some talent on the board for the Clippers to pick. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk from Kawhi Leonard and they need a point guard. Yeah. What do you guys think the Clippers are going to do with this pick? Are we seeing Tyrese Maxey coming off here, or RJ Hampton? I think RJ Hampton is a steal for still being on the board this late.
I think if it's the Clippers, I see them going with maybe RJ Hampton, and then they can maybe try to trade Paul George to someone.
They've got a lot of options here, but they've got to figure out what the heck they're going to do with their team. So.
No, I spoke 1 minute too soon, as it's a three-way deal. The Pistons will get the number 19th pick.
Oh, wow. That changes things.
Three-way deal includes the Pistons with Luke Kennard heading to the Clippers. Probably more details with that trade to come down in the next couple of minutes, because I could see there being some picks involved. But,
I refuse to say Saddiq Bey again, but he is at the top of my board.
okay, so that brings Detroit back into the mix with already having what do we have? Two picks for Detroit already?
Our producer has told us we're going to wrap it up here with pick 20.
Okay.
So let's take care of these two.
So the Detroit Pistons will get their third pick after picking Isaiah Stewart after the trade from.
Wow.
No, sorry. That was a trade to Portland. I'm trying to keep track of my notes. So Detroit will have their second pick after taking Killian Hayes.
Well, yeah, Twitter's really blowing up on everything. The Dallas Mavericks picks the Josh Green. He's getting a lot of love right now.
I'm glad we're wrapping up, because I'm having a really hard time trying to follow everything.
Yeah, a lot of unsuspected. I think this draft was difficult for many reasons. A lot of trades going on. I think a lot of teams are trying to go quantity over quality.
Well, yeah, because it's such a crapshoot on this, because they really don't have the information they normally have. But to be honest, I bet you when they compare this draft against other drafts, the statistics are going to come out about the same, because though they want to say it's a science, it's really a crapshoot, except for a handful of players every year.
Yeah, there's not the franchise caliber players that are coming out now like they used to about 20 years ago.
No.
I think one of the things that we see in the NBA draft is just the quality and the steals that you might find, say, in like the 10th to 20th pick, right? Like some of the players that have developed, and if you look at it top 10 NBA draft picks, like besides LeBron James and I guess Steph Curry, what team has been able to develop their draft picks into a championship? And I mean, even with LeBron James, he had to go somewhere else to do it and then come back to that.
I think Golden State was the best example, and it took them almost 30 years to get it right too.
And I think that Golden State's not just the best example; they're one of the only examples with drafting Steph and Clay. So, I mean, I definitely like adding more picks to your arsenal and hoping one of those darts that you're throwing at the wall sticks. Especially in a year like this when there's not like a top player kind of deal.
Yeah,
guys,
I think
they're showing it with the Nets pick being in right now. And what do you think about the Steve Nash hire as a head coach?
I think that was it was influenced by Kevin Durant, I believe, because when Steve Nash helped out Kevin Durant when he was with the Warriors, spoke very highly of him, and it's hey, why did the Nets make a move? Because Kyrie Irving wasn't happy. This is something where, if the star isn't happy, the coach is going, especially in the NBA. I'm not sure how successful Steve Nash is. A great player, had a great career, 2-time MVP. But I'm not a fan of even these great superstars. Okay, I want to be a head coach. Oh, here you go. I really think there needs to be someone. I'm not sure if they're bringing Lawrence Frank with them, who was a head coach, ironically, for the Nets several years ago. But I got to see the rest of the staff developed around Steve Nash, because a lot of times it's one thing being an executive who just has to go into the office and watch the game. It's another thing to be a coach that needs to go over the minutia of everything.
All right, man. I get to announce this pick, all right, because this is my guy here. Sadiq Bey, Nets, baby. Yeah.
I like the pick.
That's a steal. And so I will touch on the coaching a bit with Steve Nash. And I really liked what he did with his hirings of his assistant coaches with Amari Stoudemire and Mike D'Antoni. Basically surrounded himself with old Phoenix Suns, coaching staff. And there was kind of talk about the 7-second offense. Like they don't want to hold the ball longer than 7 seconds. But I don't really see that. I think that they're going to, kind of figure out in training camp what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving and KD and how best they can kind of use those two players. And Steve Nash will do it. And I think there will be buy-in regardless of whatever decision he wants to make. City, great choice.
Now, let me ask you this, though, because there was reports coming out that James Harden wanted to go to Houston, go from Houston to Brooklyn. And you got to wonder if, Mike D'Antoni be like James Harden, could be like, wait a minute, I want to find a coach. I don't have to play defense.
Exactly.
And maybe, this is where I'm going to be most successful. I think a lot of people talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder are one of the greatest teams never to win a championship. When you look at, they had Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and James Harden all on the team at the same time.
All running on young legs.
Yeah, and they couldn't win that championship. And, Oklahoma City made that choice to trade James Harden. And, Durant left, Westbrook went somewhere else. So you got to wonder about that.
I want to flip back to what Josh was saying. Nash is a real cerebral guy. He understands the game. He was an incredible point guard. You can't be an incredible point guard and not understand fundamentally the game of basketball. I think he's going to be fine. It's just a matter of if he can get the guys to play for him and if he can articulate what he wants to do and make it fit his players. That's what every coach has to figure out how to do. Who knows, man? Who knows?
But I definitely see him running D'Antoni's system. But, the issue with D'Antoni's system is it wins games in the regular season, but it doesn't finish off with a championship at the end of the season.
That's the knock on it.
I 100% disagree with that. I do not see Steve Nash running a Mike D'Antoni system. I see him making Mike D'Antoni and using his valuable assets and his skill as a coach, as a head coach, kind of the things that Steve Nash might not have yet, the experience, but doing it to the game plan that he wants to run based on the skill of his players. So I don't think we're going to see like a Mike D'Antoni running gun offense. I think we're going to see like Steve Nash is going to ask for accountability out of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. As much as people want to say they're superstars, Steve Nash isn't the guy to just say, yo, do your thing.
You know why you're not going to see a Mike D'Antoni system here, man? Because today's players don't want to run that hard. That system was work, baby. You had to put in the miles. You were running up and down. They had a special breed of cats that were running that system that could do that system. And nowadays, man, no, man, they don't want to run that hard. That's some serious work, man. That's some serious work. Look, the last pick of our draft is coming up right now. Miami's on the clock. Tom, what are they grabbing here?
Pat Riley has a keen eye for talent. We
Yes.
still got Precious Achua and Maxey from Kentucky available. I see him going with Maxey because I think Pat Riley just loves those Kentucky ball players.
Well, the pick's in as Miami's on the clock. Somebody that I'm going to go kind of a little bit off board is not off board, but Desmond Bain, I think could fit well in Miami, and just because of kind of the work ethic and his personality at TCU, I think he could fit really well with Jimmy Buckets. again, it's the NBA. There's no real actual position, so it doesn't really matter if a team drafts somebody who's set in a position that they already have a player in. They can move things around. So, be interested to see what Miami does with this pick.
And also, too, Miami, they're in a position where they just need to get best available.
Theo Maledon is available here right now. A French guy, point guard, and he's slightly smaller, only 6'4", 174 pounds, but the kid can play.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in the draft, what are you looking for? Best talent available, right?
Yeah. Precious Achua from Memphis.
So they did go with pretty much the best available player in the draft left.
Great call, Tom.
As as a power forward, as opposed to Tyrese Maxey at a guard.
I think I know Precious Achua has a brother named God's Gift. And if you very unique names, Precious Achua put up 15 points, shot 49% from the field, averaged 10 boards too. So he's going to be doing a little bit of everything. And when you're looking for depth, you want someone who can do a little bit of everything.
Yes, to fit him in, man. Versatility is huge. Versatility is a skill set.
Mm-hmm. He's long, he's strong, athletic, matchup problem, and he also has skill too, which is something that, there's multiple areas you can use him. I think Precious Achua, is a good pick by Pat Riley in the Heat, and I think he will benefit greatly from his time in Miami.
Well, I agree with you that Pat Riley has an eye for skill. He's proven that over the years. So when he picks somebody, I pay attention and go like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like this a lot.
He's
well,
gonna
hey guys,
fit, fit really well with the he's gonna fit really well with the Miami offense from seeing some of this pick and roll work here.
Let's wrap this up and about the draft, get some last thoughts on it, and then you take us on home, Josh.
Sounds good. So we're at the we just finished off the 20th pick. We got the Philadelphia 76ers on with the 21st pick. We've been going here now, live reaction for some of us just over 2 hours now, or just under 2 hours. Van, the big boss man, was kind enough to join in, and then we got Tom McAllister, who waited for the New York Knicks pick, which was just hilarious, and I should have expected it.
Show up late, make an entrance. There you go. It's the way it's done. Well done, Tom.
Hey, isn't that how they do it in La La Land?
Golf clap.
Very much so. So I want to thank everybody who's joined along with us. We got a fair bit of interaction, some of it inappropriate that we won't comment on. But our producer will fire back in the comments at you if you're going to just get a little bit naughty and try and take over our show with your naughty words. So yeah, like I said, I hope everybody enjoyed that. There's still obviously 20 picks here left in the draft. We're hoping to maybe kind of go longer, but with
I wanted to make the Lakers. I did, but again, it's so hard to really talk about who's getting picked right now because there's so little film, so little information on them. It's a draft like no other. But I got to tell you what, this is one of the most exciting drafts in a long time, because to me, I'm going to be up, most of the night, all day tomorrow, tracking down these kids, looking at them and seeing how they fit in their teams. To me, that's just really exciting. This is a lot of fun.
Of course, I want to put a little disclaimer that Van won't actually be tracking down any of these kids. But thank you again to everyone that joined us. Make sure you hit that like button. I see we got lots of likes down there, lots of comments. Hit that big blue join button. You're going to get lots of perks. We got great shows on. I had a great guest on the Unnamed Sports Show today, Donovan Bennett, and we chatted some NBA. Tom's got his Big East show. Van's all over the NFL. And basically, if you are an NFL fan and you're not following Steven Van over on Twitter, you're doing something wrong, because he has highlights, he has analysis, he has it all. So
basically, Mark Colombo will show up to Van's house and beat him up if he doesn't like what's going on.
Exactly. And he's been there twice this year, which is why I walk with a limp. So.
Well, it's also too. Colombo actually has a lot more free time, so he might pay your third visit. And I heard he doesn't socially distance either.
Oh, and what I'm seeing here from our producer is we are going to be doing a Lakers draft pick analysis video for all you Los Angeles Lakers fans, NBA champions. They kind of get it. Might throw in some Raptors analysis, or maybe just on one of my other shows. So, but again, thank you everyone for
Raptors. Is that a hockey team?
Yes, that's a hockey team, Van. Get back to LA. I am from Canada. I am Joshua Griffith. This has been the live reaction NBA draft show. We got trades going on. Things are happening. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you to our amazing producer, Lee. And yeah, as always, thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk Line, where we talk sports 24/7, 365.
So apparently there's this